Hi there, are you a performer? Maybe you're an actor or a singer, a dancer, maybe even a musician, and you're curious, how can the Alexander Technique help me? Well, if so, my friend, then this video is for you. Hi there, my name is Morgan Risden, and I'm the creator of Center Studio, where I teach people skills to feel more comfortable more often. Now, before I get started, if you haven't already, friend, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and also that notification bell. That way, anytime I make a video like this, you'll know. Now, I wanted to get started with a question I hear all the time from individuals, and they say, Morgan, why are performers studying the Alexander Technique? How does it benefit them? And sometimes they'll come because maybe they have a colleague who's been studying, maybe they saw it at college, but they didn't have time to take a class, but others were taking it and found it interesting. And so at some point or another, they say, you know what, I'm going to study that thing Alexander Technique. But then they ask me, why, Morgan? How can it help me? Well, the truth is it actually helps everybody, right? I think more performers seek out Alexander Technique because they've been exposed. And what I mean by that is that in universities, in college settings, typically Alexander Technique is a part of the curriculum at performance art schools. So Yale University, NYU, Tisch, Juilliard, right? These schools, it's a part of the curriculum. It's built into the education for those in the performance art. Okay, and this is something that's not just here in the US, but also internationally. Different institutions, colleges, and universities are offering this to their performers because they see the value in learning how to use your body in order to be able to produce more quality work in your craft. And what I mean by that is that if you're an actor, you need to be able to perform, right? You have to be able to project your voice across a huge stage or a huge theater. You need to be able to take on different characters, different mannerisms, how they walk, how they stand, how they use their facial expressions or their hands, right? And also, maybe if you're a musician, you need to be able to play your violin without having chronic tendinitis or carpal tunnel, having neck problems, right? And if you're an opera singer, you have to be able to have that vocal support, that breath available so that you can sustain the quality of your sound and your music throughout an entire opera, which, let's face it, operas can last a really long time, right? So this sort of work, Alexander Technique, offers performers a set of skills in order to learn how am I helping myself or how am I potentially injuring or hurting myself. And what we do is we look at habits that performers have, right? Things that they do typically unconsciously, and how is that maybe interfering? How is that maybe helping me in some cases? Or how can I improve the way that I'm using my body so that I can show up better, okay? So that I can learn how to sing with more ease and freedom, how I can dance with more flexibility and mobility in my body with less tension, less rigidity, right? And that's all something that Alexander Technique teachers help students discover. I think that because, for example, a performer, if, let's say, an actor is playing a certain character and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't know, let's say all of a sudden they throw their back out because they were playing a specific character that, hunches over or has a weird walk, and all of a sudden they pinched a nerve, they pulled some tight muscle in their back and they can't show up. So their understudy is going to be happy, right? However, they're not going to be able to perform. They won't be able to show up. Same thing for a singer. If they develop vocal nodes, if they have problems with their vocal cords, they're not able to show up. And that's their job, right? That's their livelihood. I think the disservice in our educational system comes because we don't treat other industries the same. We don't treat the nurse or the computer tech individual the same as we would a performer. And yet I would argue that nurse uses her body just as much as the rest. In fact, in some cases, I might even say she needs it equally, if not more so, because she's having to lift heavy objects, right? Perhaps she's helping individuals in and out of a bed or up and down from a chair. Right? Same thing with a computer tech individual. They're using a computer all day. It's a repetitive action. It's something that requires them to be more sedentary and not physically using their body as much, so they're not diversifying their movement as much as performers might. And so I might say, actually, that person really needs it as well, right? And yet I think these other industries, these other educational systems are not put in place for those individuals to be as exposed. So it's really an area where I think Alexander Technique is lacking, and that the performance art programs do really well, is including this sort of education so that performers know, okay, if I'm experiencing vocal tension, I'm not going to be able to sing, I'm not going to be able to make my money to pay my rent. So let's make sure that we set our performers up so that they can succeed at their craft, so that they can show up and perform at the caliber that these professionals are going to require. So as you can see, Alexander Technique is very, very helpful for people outside of performance art. And I hope that you will find this interesting, perhaps even check out a couple of my other videos, which I will link below in the comments. And if you haven't already, friend, I'd love if you would subscribe. You can also like and share it with your friends. Okay, until next time, take care. Ciao.